Internal Affairs announced a suspension of Purud and Sunday activities across Liberia. Internal Affairs Minister Francis Newman says the suspension takes effect from April 30 to January 2026. Liberia Medical and Dental Council launches main home for Ibrahim Kamara for conducting an authorized surgery that resulted in the death of a 39-year-old woman. However, home, Sudanese army has told the BBC it has recaptured the airport in the capital Khartoum from the paramilitary RSF, marking its latest territorial gain in a brutal two-year civil war. These are the news bulletin. Voices of the newsmakers are all packaged. I will take a short break to be right back. Welcome back. At this juncture, we join Stephen Compton with the news bulletin.
The Supreme Court has reserved its ruling in the Bill of Information filed by the Battle House Speaker Funanti Kofa. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court entertained legal arguments between lawyers of the majority bloc and Councillor Funanti Kofa. During the hearing, Chief Justice Sanen Yod and other justices highlighted the disorder caused at the lower house through the actions of majority bloc members, adding that such action were conducted outside of the constitution and procedural bounds. She further criticized the majority bloc of failing to follow the proper legislative procedures in their ongoing efforts to remove Councillor Fonati Kofa as Speaker of the House of Representatives. However, Chief Justice Yamin Weze also emphasized that while the court cannot compare the legislature to act in specific way, it must ensure that any action taken are in line with constitutional practices. The Wednesday's hearing of the Bill of Information was marred by intense legal arguments between the lawyer representing the two sides. In another development, the Supreme Court had cautioned self-imposed majority bloc of procedural error in the House of Representative impasse. The Supreme Court emphasized the importance of procedural integrity in the ongoing political crisis at the House of Representatives, cautioning members of the self-styled majority bloc who have been attempting to unseat Speaker J. Funati Kofa. The code underscored that any move to remove the legitimate Speaker, Councillor Funati Kofa, must strictly adhere to established legislative processes, including securing 49 votes in legislative and legitimate sitting of the House. Chief Justice Siana Yod and her colleague highlighted the potential risks posed by actions that hemmed constitutional practices. Chief Justice Yod further noted, referring to the action of the majority bloc, which had conducted separate sections without the Speaker's presiding authority as chaotic. The remarks come during a Bill of Information hearing filed by Councillor Arthur Johnson on behalf of Speaker Kofa and other members of the House of Representatives. The government of Liberia has announced a nationwide suspension of all borrowed and funded activities for the period of 9 months. According to the government, the ban will take effect on April 30, 2025, and run through January 2026. Internal Affairs Minister Francis Yemani said the decision is intended to preserve the country's rich cultural heritage and will at the same time be used to prioritize national development, meaning in education. The government ban will halt all traditional initiation into the poor and Sunday societies and will dissolve all existing traditional coordinators across the country. Minister Nyamali disclosed that the selection of new coordinators will be decentralized on a county level recommendation from the traditional council, which will be submitted through the local superintendents through the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Following the government's announcement to suspend all traditional activities, several traditional chiefs have criticized the move, adding that it will entail the country's culture and tradition. However, several other persons, including students, educators, and advocates, consider the suspension a positive decision which will promote academic learning in all parts of the country. The Parade and Sunday Society have been used by key institutions for the transition of young men and women into adulthood. Several more developments. The Liberia Medical and Dental Council has launched a manhunt for Abraham Kamarad following his alleged impersonation as medical director and performance of an unauthorized surgery that led to the death of Dorcas Vondet, aged 39. The LMDC's action followed a formal complaint filed by Ebert Lord Fain on behalf of the deceased family, who accused Kamara of performing a favorite removal surgery on Madame Vodet on March 16 at the ABC clinic in Banville. According to the LMDC investigative report, the perpetrator failed to stabilized the victim's condition, noting that some critical medical protocols were not followed before the surgery was conducted. Meanwhile, the institution had raised public outcry with many citizens calling for the immediate shutdown of the medical facility. The LMDC has assured the victim's family of bringing the alleged perpetrator to justice. The Liberia National Police has suspended two of its officers without pay for at least 3 months for falsification of police clearance documents. The suspended officers include Samuel Nepe and Patrolman Swilit Flomo. The two were suspended following an investigation by the Standard Department of the Liberia National Police. In a release, the LMP says the action of the officers are in violation of the 2015 Section 22.9, the 90 Act of the LMP. The release added that the LMP wished to assure the public that issuing of public clearance certificate is the sole responsibility of the record and identification section. Meanwhile, the release is quoted as saying the Liberia National Police remains steadfast in ensuring transparency, accountability, and delivery of quality services to all Liberians. Bombing County College and the Community of Hope Agriculture Project have entered a one-year partnership agreement aimed at expanding agricultural production in the county. The agreement was signed on Wednesday, March 16, 2025, at the campus of Bombing Community College. Speaking after the signing ceremony, BCC President Dr. Zobong Norman described the partnership as a major step towards the institution, emphasizing that the agreement allows CHAB to utilize low land provided by the college for cultivating Liberian rice. Additionally, agriculture students at the BCC will gain hand-on experience through a demonstration site, enhancing their practical knowledge. The president of the Bombing Community College further stated that child's involvement will provide students, particularly those in the agriculture department, with greater exposure to modern farming techniques. For his part, the executive director of CHAP, Reverend Robert Bembat, expressed excitement about the collaboration, noting that the initiative will introduce agro business concept and innovation Reverend Bimbad added that the memorandum of understanding between the two institutions will create opportunities for students to participate in practical training, internship, and other educational programs to improve their skills in the agricultural sector. The partnership is expected to strengthen agricultural education at the Bombing Community College while boosting local food production in Bombay County. The University of Liberia has launched an academic lecture symposium on the auspices of the Department of Public Administration. The symposium will be used to strengthen practical knowledge of public personnel management and provide opportunities for students who are studying public administration at the University of Liberia. Launching of the symposium brought together government officials, professors, and department heads and students. The activity, which were held on the main campuses of the University of Liberia, were held under the theme Strengthening Public Personnel Administration, Innovation, and Challenges in the Liberian Civil Service. Speaking on behalf of the Public Administration Department, the department's acting chair, Roland Jarlat, admonished students to utilize the opportunity and take the lesson serious. He stressed that if Liberia is to compete with other neighboring countries, the future leaders should focus on building their human capacities and desist from political activities. Also speaking, CSA Principal Administrative Officer Alfred Josie said it is predicated upon learners to comply with academic principles in order to enable them acquire skills and innovation. An aggrieved employee of the Liberia Marketing Association has expressed concern over what they called massive financial malpractices and poor labor practices at the entity. During the press conference Tuesday, the employee highlighted issues of salary disparities under the leadership of the chief executive officer, Francis Sayon. According to them, despite several attempts to resolve the matter, the leadership of the Liberia Marketing Association has downplayed their concerns. However, responding to the employees' assertions, the chairman of the Employee Association and Inspector General of the Liberia Marketing Association, Joseph Kwekwe, termed the accusation as false and misleading. He also accused the outgoing president of the entity, Madam Elizabeth Sambula, of being the chief mastermind behind the employees' action in an effort to shield what he termed as her corrupt activities. Shimon, that's the news bulletin. It's back to you.
Stephen, content with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's News Broom. A reminder you listen to King's News Broom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories are following tonight. Supreme Court of Liberia reserves ruling in view of information. Highlights severe disorder caused by majority bloc in the impasse at the lower house. Ministry of Internal Affairs announces suspension of choral and Sunday activities across Liberia. Internal Affairs Minister Francis Imali says the suspension takes effect from February 30 to January 2026. Liberia Medical and Dental Council launches manhunt for Ibrahim Tamara for conducting an unauthorized surgery that resulted to the death of a 9-year-old woman. Away from Liberia, the Sudanese army has told the BBC it has recaptured the airport in the capital Khartoum from the paramilitary RSF, making it its year's territorial gain in a brutal 2-year civil war. To the break to the back voices of the newsmakers. back and thanks for being there. The Supreme Court has reserved its ruling in the Bill of Information filed by Embattled House Speaker, Councillor Fonanti Kofa. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court entertained legal arguments between lawyers of the majority bloc and Councillor Fonanti Kofa. During the hearings, Chief Justice Sianen Yo and other justices highlighted the disorder caused at the lower house through the actions of the majority bloc members, adding that such actions were conducted outside of the constitution and procedural bounds.
That's how they designated themselves. In the other people brief, it was in the informant petition, and we asked the speaker, Kofa, Kofa as the speaker. Now, albeit this is a bill of information, this court will never forget that. But as you so meticulously read and provisions or sections of our ruling of December 16, 2024, let me refer you to page 21 of that ruling, starting from the second paragraph. The respondents for their part, that is Honorable Broom and others, for their part, have counter-argued that they have already expressed a vote of no confidence in the leadership of the Speaker, that their quorum in the joint chambers of the legislature is legitimate for the transaction of businesses in next the constitutional requirement of a simple majority as described in the Constitution and rules, that their quorum is being chaired by a presiding officer in person of the Deputy Speaker, who is legally clothed with the same authority as the Speaker to preside over their deliberation in the absence of the Speaker, that they have cited the petitioners and other minority members of the House to attend session in the joint chambers, but they refused, and that they are constitutionally vested with the authority to conduct the business of the House of Representatives. And we said that like the petitioners in this case here now, we promised, the respondents have also drawn our attention to the constitutional phrase, quote, a simple majority of each house shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. We went further to say there that, look, when the
Chief Justice Sianen Yo, they're speaking. The Liberia Medical and Dental Council has launched a manhunt for Ibrahim Kamara following his alleged impersonation as a medical doctor and the performance of an unauthorized surgery that led to the death of Dorcas Vode, a 39-year-old woman. The LMDC's action followed a formal complaint filed by Albert Law Firm on behalf of the deceased family, who accused Kamara of performing a fiber removal surgery on Madame Vode on March 16 at the ABC clinic in Bernaville. Here is a highlight.
So you put not organized. Excuse about the so this one dispensary here. You use both dispensary, but dispensary and record. Who the dispensary? Mashami. 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 Operating room. Philo. Yeah. Please go. Let open the operating room. Yeah, let's go open the operating room.
Change where lesson, man.
You want to join me? I want to see it, please. Let me just see it. Let me just verify. Wait. Is this a report?
Yeah, that is new lesson to giving on.
Okay, we'll put it.
Nothing wrong, but we didn't come with attention like
Okay. Who did the kiss? Who did I come out? When you begin that? When you begin that? When you begin that? No, you said you are RN, right? Listen to me. You are RN, right? Right. Everyone asked you for your qualification, and you said you produce your license as an RN, right? Now you call the man a doctor. He also has a license to show he's a doctor. He did the case, right? Or believe if you don't, you will be. So you guys want to consider no qualified person here? Who the hell is here? Who the person? Yeah, this time you are. Who know who you are? What the boy? Look.
A highlight from the ABC clinic in Banazil following the death of 39-year-old Dorcas Vode. The University of Liberia has launched an academic lecture symposium under the auspices of the Department of Public Administration. The symposium will be used to strengthen practical knowledge of public personnel management and provide opportunities for students who are studying public administration. Speaking on behalf of the Public Administration Department, the deputies of the department's acting chairman, Roland Jalla, admonished students to utilize the opportunity and take their lesson seriously.
What we try to do, together with the dean, is to rebrand the Department of Public Administration to give us a new look, to give us a new meaning as instructors and students of the Department of Public Administration here at the University of Liberia. And so we have embarked on a series of symposiums, seminars, so as to acquaint you with the practical realities when it comes to public sector management. Like all of the theories, but there are people with hands on. We are inviting them to come and tell you how it looks like out there. Many of you participate in conversations, in debates, and at times we need to know the actuality of things, not to focus on what is said in the street, but instead what is the actuality. And our vision here is to transform your mind, to make you a better person. When you graduate the Department of Public Administration, people should see you as a true bureaucrat that believe in good governance. The practices of good governance shall be left with you. So we say thanks for coming. Sit attentively and listening to Mr. Joseph. We have over 20 years, if not 25 years of experience as a civil service agency, and he knows much about public employment. He has participated in much of civil service reform.
Roland Jalla is the acting chairman of the Department of Public Administration at the University of Liberia. Also speaking, CSA Principal Administrative Officer Alfred Josie said it is predicated upon learners to comply with academic principles in order to enable them acquire skills and innovation.
The world needs now. So as we go through our lecture series, like the Equality said and our Honorable Dean said, sit back, listen to the presentation, prepare your notes, and ask all of your questions. Thank you. Yes. You have to be in full compliance. There are some of us who have the issues that the Dean Brother said, sometimes you want to trade your body for great. It's unacceptable. On the global main, we can't do that. You can't bribe to lecture. You can't solicit grade through the bribe or through friendship. You must earn your degree. Be proud that you can earn. Now, social media is the wildfire. It's the one job in society. So all of us have to be cognizant. This is why, for example, The civil service agency subscribe to the National Code of Conduct for Public Officials and Government Employees. You must apply. Currently, we are enforcing the access declaration amended by the President to ensure that all those who are not in full compliance of declaring their access, salaries are withheld, and the person that will open an escrow account through the DCA, the CSA, and the Ministry of Finance. That escrow account, the money has been moved to that escrow account for 90,000 plus. That money will be used for one child, one share policy. So going forward, any violators who violate, the money will move the money because we manage the field. So we will work with the new sanitation to ensure that cheers. Sometimes
A reminder you're listening to King's News Broom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories will follow in tonight's Supreme Court of Liberia reserves ruling in Day of Information. Highlights severe disorder caused by majority bloc in impasse at the lower house. Ministry of Internal Affairs announces suspension of poro and sunny activities across Liberia. Internal Affairs Minister Francis Onali says the suspension takes effect from April 30 to January 2026. Liberia Medical and Dental Council launches manhunt for Abraham Kamara for conducting an unauthorized surgery that resulted to the death of a 39-year-old woman. Away from Liberia, the Sudanese army has told the BBC that it has recaptured the airport in the capital Khartoum from the paramilitary RSF in its 8 years territorial gain in a brutal 2-year civil war. Russia and Ukraine have agreed to a related ceasefire in the Black Sea in separate deals with the U.S. after 3 days of peace talks in Saudi Arabia. We'll take a break to be back with our voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Aggrieved employees of the Liberia Marketing Association have expressed concern over what they call massive financial malpractices and poor labor practices at the entity. During a press conference on Tuesday, the employees highlighted issues of salary disparities under the leadership of the Chief Executive Officer Francis Sale. According to them, despite several attempts to resolve the matter, the leadership of the Liberia Marketing Association has downplayed their concerns.
Our concerns and issues are unfair dismissal, bar reshuffle, unfair reshuffle practice, or underpayment, salary disparity, and bad financial practices. Or we agree employees of the Liberia market endure persistent administrative and financial mismanagement under the leadership of Mr. Francis F. Sion and the board chair, Lucy Crawford. There are a lot of things happening, and we thought of flagging it out with management and the executive. Since January 17, we communicated with central management on our grievances, but up to date, they refuse to adhere to our complaint. With reference to the reshuffle, with reference to staff up here, because the HR and the deputy HR took on employee salary and owing employees 2023 and 2024 arrears up to this time, the 16th January, millions of dollars without settling employees that are taking the very low amount. It was surprising to realize that we have the people that are generating the fund of this entity for taking nothing as a basic salary. Therefore, for the sweepers.
Responding to the employees section, the chairman of the Employees Association and Inspector General of the LMA, Johnson Kokol, termed the accusation as false and misleading. He also accused the outgoing president of the entity, Elizabeth Sambola, of being the chief mastermind behind the employees' actions.
The issue concerning those who claim to be aggrieved Like I said to a few of the colleagues, those guys, the five individuals in question, they are not aggrieved, but rather because you cannot be aggrieved and then receiving salary from the very person you are accusing on a monthly basis and other benefits. Okay, so it is disingenuous to hear five individuals that are receiving salary monthly from January up to now. These guys are receiving salary. So why you call yourself agree? But these guys are purported surrogate of the current president of the Liberal Marketing Association. And for we are prepared to elevate this debate. The sponsor behind the five individuals that continue to put our institution in the public for the wrong reason. They are not agree. They are purported surrogate of Madam Elizabeth Samla, outgoing president of the Liberal Marketing Association. And we are clear about that. It is because Madam Samla has failed the entity for the last 4 years. This madam, I want to be on record, is the most corrupt president since the foundations of the Liberal Marketing Association. Yes, she's on record for receiving millions in Douala Market. She received $20,000 from the former government. The very car she carried today, that car belongs to the entity. That car, she's not using that car, the airport, as car rental. Beyond that, during the 2020 election, there was money given to this entity. She bring the hair between the former government and our institution, collected millions of dollars. In Nima, the government sent 12 million. The current president went and received 4 million as a kickback for the 12 million.
Chairman of the Employees Association and Inspector General of the Liberal Marketing Association, Joseph Kokor. Earlier you heard verses of aggrieved employees of the LMA. Broom County College and the Community of Hope Agriculture Project have entered a one-year partnership agreement aimed at expanding agricultural production in the county. Speaking after the ceremony, BCC President Dr. Zobonomo described the partnership as a major step forward for the institution, emphasizing that the agreement allows CHAP to utilize lowland provided by the college for cultivating Liberian rice.
Well, it was just a blessing for us. I mean, they came visiting the county, and as they were going, they saw the swamp. And they wonder who got this swamp, and they saw some of the activities we're doing, and they got interested, and they approached us to a partnership in agricultural production, and we said, yeah, we're very happy. So right now, if you went to the swamp, the workers are working, women, men, is doing good. That's how it all started. And I was supposed to provide the land, right? I mean, the swamp land. Provide the swamp land, and we'll be involved also, I call the member, with the management of the farm. We will also provide our students, to go there and get some practical exposure in addition to what our program requires, our agriculture program. We already have practical exercises on our academic program, but this will expose them further, CHAP, Community of Hope Agriculture Project, that they call themselves. They have projects around the country, okay? So they will assist our students to do more practical things on the field. And besides that, they will make field visits to the different projects that CHAP is operating around the country.
Okay, so how does this partnership or agreement between you and CHAP benefit your institution, particularly the students, especially in the agriculture department?
Okay, yeah. One of the ways that this project going to benefit the students is the practical experience that they're going to get exposed to. So they come to class and they learn the theory, right? About irrigation maybe, or about some crop thing. But then they go in the field. We have assigned agricultural activities too. So this will be like enriching. You will get more exposure. So if you get something like 60% practical and 40% theory, we think that's a very good combination. So our students will benefit from the field what we'll be doing, learning about fertilizers, about the soil, so this is supposed to help to also grow more food. The students that will go through the practice will have the opportunity to learn and be job ready, right? Because they got so much exposure agriculture. But besides that, it will also prepare them, create their own job. So if you work a lot on the field, practically backed by your children, when you graduate, you decide to farm a piece of land and grow your own vegetables.
For his part, the executive director of CHAP, Reverend Robert Bemba, expressed excitement about the collaboration, noting that the initiative will introduce agribusiness concepts and innovative agricultural technologies to students at the Bomi Community College. Reverend Bemba added that the memorandum of understanding between the two institutions will create opportunities for students to participate in practical training, internships, and other educational programs to improve their skills in the agricultural sector.
Yeah, so we're here today. We just came to sign the MOU between CHAP and the Bombing Community College that is now transitioning to the Western University program. And the purpose is to see how we do the partnership with the college in terms of the agriculture department to work closely with the agriculture department to introduce the agribusiness and the different technology that we promote and innovations that we promote at the CHAP level as we champion the cause of farms for jobs, with promote agriculture development. So that was basically, so we have an MOU with BCC that we will work together with, and we will handle certain affairs of their college in terms of the practical and the internship programs.
So exactly, what prompted the partnership between you and the Bomi Community College that you signed today?
Yeah, so it was out of our, 3 weeks ago, we were here in the county. We have started our work in the county. I want to thank the superintendent. She did exceptionally well. Office opening, or she opened her door to us to develop most of the lowlands here and to make sure we promote the agriculture development, which is in line with the arrest agenda as well. And then we also partnership with other universities. So we feel that if we are implementing doing major work, working with partnership with the BCC, that is doing a great job. They are doing excellent job, in terms of the human resource development at this college. So that's what prompted it. And we are here, and today we have the MOU signed. So the MOU is a 1-year MOU, but it's subject to being reviewed and renewed. So which is good for us. So, and we can always review it and see what it will need to be improved on. But we hope that this will go a long way for the both institutions. In fact, we already started, groundwork in the field, the 20 hectares that the BCC has for the agricultural purposes. We have started the development process and the rehabilitation. So we hope that the plants will go into the field before the rains come.
So let's look at the benefit this partnership has for students of the Bomi Community College, especially from the end of CHAP.
Yes, there's a lot. So we have to complement. The school is doing exceptionally well with what they have, with the meager resources they have. So our work is to complement, is to expose them to more other opportunity that they can have. So when they get to the job market and they can create their own jobs, not just looking for a job, but they can become people who go out to create jobs, sustainable jobs for themselves through agribusinesses, through agriculture development initiatives. So that is applause.
Executive Director of CHAP, Reverend Robert Bemba. Ella, you heard the voice of the Bowman Community College President, Dr. Zibo Nomo. Away from Liberia, the Sudanese army has told the BBC it has recaptured the airport in the capital Khartoum from the paramilitary RSF, making its latest territorial gain in a brutal 2-year civil war. General Mohammed Abdel Rahman, commander of the operation in East Khartoum, said troops had fully secured it and might be able to clear the rest of the RSF fighters by the end of the day. The army has been moving swiftly since recapturing the presidential palace on Friday and seizing state institutions taken by the paramilitary group. Away from that, and Russia and Ukraine have agreed to a naval ceasefire in the Black Sea in separate deals with the U.S. after the 3 days of peace talks in Saudi Arabia. Washington said all parties will continue working toward a durable and lasting peace in statements announcing the agreements which will reopen an important trade route. They have also committed to develop measures to implement a previously agreed ban on attacking each other's energy infrastructure, the White House said. Well, on that note, that's how we come to the near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we follow in the headlines. Supreme Court of Liberia reserves ruling in view of information highlights severe disorder caused by majority bloc in the impasse at the lower house. Ministry of Internal Affairs announces suspension of Poro and Sunday activities across Liberia. Internal Affairs Minister Francis Umali says the suspension takes effect from February 30 to January 2026. Liberia Medical and Dental Service Council announces new home for Ibrahim Kamara for conducting and unauthorized surgery that resulted to the death of a 9-year-old woman. Away from Liberia, the Sudanese army has told the BBC it has recaptured the airport in the capital Khartoum from the paramilitary group, making its 8 years territorial gain in a brutal 2-year civil war. Russia and Ukraine have agreed to a naval ceasefire in the Black Sea in separate deals with the US after 3 days of peace talks in Saudi Arabia. In thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's News Sources. Stephen Compton brought you the news bulletin. Sam Andrews sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Shemon Dale. I present it. Thanks for listening and watching.